Hello everyone, welcome to my review of the Punisher Comiquette by Sideshow Collectibles. This is yet another of those older pieces by Sideshow. It came out in 2009. It's inspired by the artwork of Ariel Olivetti and it's sculpted by Martin Canal and the Gore Group. And this is just it, guys. I didn't have any, let's just say, long-term plans or anything about getting this piece actually. I just recently started studying it a bit more and I really found that there are many aspects about this piece that I just really like. Things that really speak to me as a collector of statues like these. I think the main thing is probably the sculpt here. Of course, it's a very exaggerated sculpt. He has so huge muscles. In no way or manner is this an authentic or realistic version of Frank Castle. But anyways, I mean, this is based on the artwork of Ariel Olivetti, so that makes sense that he looks like this. And still, I find that just this massive look, this brutal and very rough look for Punisher really fits him well, and I guess as a statue, it just has some of those things that I like these days about statues. A very defined but also a very characteristic and stylized look, and just in many ways a very impressive piece, I guess. So I find this piece to have many of those qualities that I really like these days. In this review, of course, I'm going to show you some still photos. I find it to be relevant to compare him to some of my premium formats, and that's because this is a Comiquette. And typically that entails that the piece is in the scale of 1 to 5. Most premium formats, on the other hand, are quarter scale 1 to 4. And I'd like to show you how well this piece fits into my collection, because I do personally prefer having some sort of continuity in terms of the scale of statues in a collection. I find that if they are basically the same size, the entire collection is lifted to a whole new level somehow. And even though this is a Comiquette in the scale of 1 to 5 or thereabout, I find that it fits quite well into my collection anyways. And that's really important for me, of course. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm also going to zoom in on every aspect of this piece and show you some of the very fine details so you can really see what it is that I'm talking about here. So sit right back and relax, guys, and I hope you're going to enjoy this. Let me set up the camera and zoom in and we'll just get started. Alright guys, here we go, up close to his face. I find that the facial expression here and just the sculpt of the entire portrait is just one of the main selling points about this piece. He just looks like such a rough character, such a harsh and brutal looking guy. And if you turn him to the side, you can really see how his nose has been broken and all that. It really shows a rough character, this sculpt here, and I find that to be very important when it comes to this character in particular. Sideshow did a very good job on the paints here. It's almost on the level of a custom paint application, but this is a factory piece, and in that regard, this is a very good release. The eyes and everything, the small details, his teeth that you can barely see through his lips here. I mean, these are small details that they could easily have overlooked, but they didn't. They really put some care and attention into the creation of this piece, and that really paid off in the end. If we turn him to the side, you can see his broken nose again. It really makes this piece look awesome, I think. His hair is finely defined along all the edges here. On the back, you can actually see some small spatters, shorter hair here. This is also another small detail that Sideshow didn't really have to put in there, but they did, and it looks amazing, and it really gives this piece some small aspects. If you turn him around, you see some small details, and it really shows me that Sideshow just went all the way with this piece, and they really put some attention into the smallest details here, and that's really a nice thing to see, I guess. He has some straps on his shoulders here, some kind of body harness, I guess, and you can see he has some shells here. And again on the back, from this angle, you can see his harness going on the back here, and of course also just the muscular guy here. I really like these areas here. It just really makes him look awesome, I think. Of course also, and I'm gonna talk more about his middle area, but his arms here, they are just awesome, I think. He has a gun in his hand. It's not an authentic gun or anything. It's a fictitious weapon. But it looks nice. It doesn't really do much. I mean, of course he's going to be holding a weapon in his hand here, but it's just some random weapon, I guess. It reminds me a bit of the Deadpool premium format. It's not really crucial, but it's there because it should be. And it looks really cool. Not too big, kind of compact. And I find that to be very pleasing, and it fits right into the size and scale of this piece nicely. So overall, I mean, the facial expression and just the sculpt and everything, the paints and all that, it really, really is important, and Sideshow did a really amazing job here, I think. So definitely one of the main selling points about this piece. I'm going to zoom out now, show you the body, and we'll have a look at some of the details there. Alright guys, here we go. And again, as you can see, he's a really strong guy. He has these huge arms, but you can also really tell from his body, really. And of course he's wearing his black shirt here with the iconic Punisher skull logo here. It looks really nice, by the way, the contrast between these two colors and just how it really stands out from this piece. He's not really a colorful guy. I mean, there are actually only 3 colors in play here. There's a black, there's a white, and there's the flesh tone. It's a very simple piece in that regard, but also this really makes it stand out somehow. Anyways, you can really see how strong he is and how exaggerated and buff he is, because the material here, this is sculpted, by the way. Again, this is a 100% fully sculpted piece, but they sculpted in these stretch ripples here, marks on his shirt, and it really shows you how big he is underneath this shirt. And I really find that somehow that this makes the piece really stand out, and it really just adds to the overall look of this piece and the way that they wanted to show him. You see something similar to these ripples here on the Deadpool premium format in small areas, and I find also on that piece that those are the small details that really make the piece in the end. So it's a really nice detail. I'm going to turn into the side here. You can see, again, muscles going on here. Not really much else to say, though. His arms are looking amazing, especially this arm here. I'm going to show you a picture. You can really see how just the physics going on here, the physique of the Punisher, it looks amazing. And I mean, it's probably not a realistic study of the human body or anything. It's just really exaggerated instead. And it just gives you this whole different perspective, I guess, somehow. Anyways, turning him all the way to the back here, you can see he has a little dagger or knife on the back here. Again, a nice detail going on the back. I really enjoy when they add these kinds of things to statues, things you hardly notice when you're just looking at them. You have to do a 360 in order to really get in all of the details. The body harness looks really nice as well. You have different textures on the different pieces of it. I guess it's some kind of leather they've tried to achieve, and you have different textures going on, and it's really, really nicely done, I think. Again, a strong looking arm on the other side here. It's just amazingly well sculpted, I find. But yeah, he has a utility belt, by the way. Can you see that? Oh, you can easily see that. Again, with some different textures going on the different parts of it. Small utility bags. Same color. The colors are really subtle here. It's all black, and of course that's just also the way Punisher looks, of course. I'm probably gonna zoom out before I'm gonna mention his holster here. Yeah, let me zoom out and show you the legs and everything, and I'm gonna mention the gun as well. So just give me 2 seconds. Alright guys, here we go. Now I decided to include the base while we're at it here anyways, so I'll just do the legs and the base in one go here. Now, as you can see, he has this holster on his side with a gun inside. It's really nicely detailed. It actually looks like something that would typically have been made out of mixed media, but this is fully sculpted, and anyways, it really looks nice. You have some fine small details, some stitches going on here, stitchings. It's really, really nice. Also, all just the straps here and the buckle here, it really looks impressive. The details are amazing. I mean, it looks like something that would have been made out of real components on a premium format, but this is instead just fully sculpted, and they did a great job with it. His combat pants, they are the same black color as the rest, nicely detailed by the way. They really managed to capture the behavior and the look of a real fabric media in the sculpt here, and they did a great job with it. You can really see it on the back here as well, just the way that the pants are behaving here. It looks amazing, I think. So it doesn't really matter if it's sculpted or was should have been premium format with mixed media. The way that they did it here, it's just so convincing that I couldn't have asked for anything better. There's one thing I'm going to add though. His legs does seem a bit thin compared to the rest of the body, and I don't know if it's some specific angles where they look a bit thin. Of course, his upper body is just also so incredibly buff that his legs, of course, are going to seem a bit different in that regard. But it's a very, very small thing, and most people probably wouldn't even agree with me on that. So, and it's nothing that really ruins anything for me or anything. It's just something that I just thought about for a brief moment, I guess. His boots are really nicely detailed as well. Actually, this is one of the best looking boots that I've ever seen on a statue like this. They did a great job here. And the base, very simple. Taking out of a larger context, this is just some ground debris, similar to that at least. Some tiles on the floor that are broken, and just some ruin. It gives you this feel of some kind of ruin or battleground he's standing on. And you also have, of course, also all these shells on the ground here. So it really shows you that this guy's been in a fight just recently, and he's just standing there now looking like a badass. Amazing, guys. It really looks nice. I'm gonna turn him around. I hope it's sharp though. But yeah, it looks amazing, as you can see. It reminds me a bit of the base for the Captain America premium format, the original one. It looks really nice, at least. Right, guys, I think I'm gonna zoom out now and just wrap up this review, so just give me 2 seconds. Alright, guys, I think that basically covers everything about this piece. Now, I find this piece to be a very, very successful piece. And that's interesting because this is a fully sculpted piece because it's a Comiquette. No mixed media is going on here or anything like that. Still, it's a person here wearing clothes. And I find it interesting that they actually managed to deliver a convincing look even though it's fully sculpted. And it also kind of makes it interesting to look at other statues, because when is it best to use mixed media and when is it best to use a fully sculpted statue? It's really difficult to say, really, but I think it's a really interesting debate, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts about it in the comment fields below, guys. I guess I've thought a bit about it recently, especially after I got this piece, and I guess that when it comes to comic book related characters, I find more and more examples that in which case a fully sculpted piece is simply better looking because it is a better way of representing a comic book page somehow. If you have any fabrics or mixed media going on, first and foremost, of course, it's going to look a bit more authentic or realistic somehow, but it's also going to cover up the sculpt in a much more significant way. And that means you are not going to be able to see some of the muscles more as defined as they actually are on the sculpt. It's going to be covered up. And you see that on various statues already today. And in many cases, I actually think that's a bit of a shame, because some of the important aspects about the comic book characters are the muscles and all the way that they have been drawn on the paper. And I guess that kind of diminishes somehow when you have a mixed media piece. But I know this is a debate, really, and there's going to be proponents of both sides. Some are going to favor a mixed media statue, and others are going to favor a fully sculpted statue. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, guys, in the comment section. In any case, I'm going to wrap up this review by saying that this piece is an awesome piece. It really delivers. It's a static pose that really looks awesome and just very iconic, I guess. And I'm sure that it's going to fit right into my collection, even though I basically only have quarter scale statues, and this one is maybe slightly smaller, but not really that much. My Spider-Man Comiquette, by the way, is also a Comiquette, of course, and it's actually bigger than most of my premium formats. So even though typically you have 1 to 5 going on when it comes to Comiquettes and 1 to 4 when it's premium formats, you can't always count on it like that. You have to really just put them up there next to the other and see how they look next to each other. But in any case, guys, and I'm gonna finish up by doing another 360 here. This is an amazing piece, very stylized and characteristic looking. But in any case, and that's my opinion, this is my favorite statue of the Punisher. It just really has something going for it that, in my opinion, none of the other statues has. And with that, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed watching my review here. If you have any questions or comments, of course, go ahead and post them below. And also do remember to like and subscribe, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and do take care. See you in the next one.